amazing if you Google like the Jetsons and how many things on that cartoon that we have today in real life. It's like a good dozen, 50 items.
Meet George Jetson.
I drove here in my car, which I pushed a button and it turned into a briefcase. Walking to work with my car briefcase. My flying car bag. All right, smartphones, workout guy on TV, treadmill. Lots and lots of stuff. Computers. Pretty neat Google search. Jetsons cartoon. How many items do we use today? It's a dozen plus at least. I've seen a few different lists like 10, 12, 15. That's what I do. Look up Jetsons lists. All right, we're done for the day. Corporal, great job. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. A calibration tones coming your way for the next hour and 57 minutes till 6 p.m. We're out of here. What, Corporal? That won't cut it? The calibration tone is out. We have a program to do. All right, I'm prepped up. As usual, it is a wide open Wednesday. Yeah, you right. I love wide open Wednesday because you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, anything at all. Anything at all. Hey, let's take the show hostage. I'm going to jam this down Corey's throat. I'm going to throw this topic out there. Bring it on. Something that's not being discussed enough, not being discussed at all, something that you think I have the opposite view on what reality is or what you think or what I should be thinking. Bring it. We don't screen phone calls. We won't cut you off if we disagree. We do things a little differently here. You'll never hear me commenting, yeah, that's an interesting point, Jimmy. I like drumsticks over wings at a fried chicken joint. Thanks for the call. And then just, he's gone or she's gone. I love when the show host just talks and goes off and acts like kind of countering the point of the caller. And you think the caller's still there. The caller was gone a minute ago. And the host just rambles on. And Jim and Gentili, thanks for the call, and moves on like no counterpoint. Now, I mean, we get into some circular argument for 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes. Yeah, we're going to move on. But I don't cut people off. We don't screen calls. Bring it. Rouse's Markets phone lines to participate, 766-9480. The Corporal's at the controls. 766-9480, the phone number, if you want to get on the neutral ground. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Little Woodhouse $50 trivia action. Got some questions coming your way. Stick around for those. 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Get over there right now. There are folks that get off work. They go to work early, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. They get off work 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon. They're at Katie's. It's a neighborhood restaurant for many neighborhoods. You got the regulars that walk to Katie's, plop down in their bar stool. They're there a few days a week. They've got the regulars that pop down in their bar stool a few days a week at Katie's that don't live in that mid-city neighborhood. And there's some folks, I'm not kidding you, that live on the West Bank, live out in Metairie, Kenner. They're in Katie's a few times a week. They love it. Lots of New Orleans characters, a great bar, flat screen TVs. But really the thing that makes Katie's what it is the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, a true taste of New Orleans, those old school New Orleans specialties you love, and so much more like pizzas, po' boys. Scott Craig doing you right at Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. Iberville, corner Telemachus, Katie's in Mid-City. Iberville. I don't say Iberville. I don't think Iberville said Iberville. Iberville. A lot of folks say Iberville, though. Super Bowl committee, New Orleans punch list, hundreds of items, $60+ million in projects over the next 6 to 8 months. That's fantastic. Hundreds of thousands of dollars spent every day on projects in Metro New Orleans. Most of it's New Orleans. Most of it's around the Superdome, the CBD, the Warehouse District, the French Quarter. When we talk about Michael Heck, this committee that I happen to be on, Jeff Landry appointed Michael Heck. Believe it or not, I'm on it. It's New Orleans exclusive, essentially. But there is a little bit of Jefferson Parish, but a lot of parishes like Jefferson are kind of doing their own thing. They're doing their own prep for the Super Bowl, which is fantastic because they reap the benefits of it also, obviously. But most of it's around the Superdome, the CBD, the Warehouse District, the French Quarter. Almost 70 road projects. It could be major, like Poydras, a total redo. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then it can just be small things like some ridiculous street that has a sinkhole that's been there forever that will just rip the front axle and oil pan off your car. Those kind of things too, that might be tens of thousands of dollars. Almost 70 road projects. Over 75 lighting projects, like lighting up the French Quarter, to the interstate, to the Crescent City connection on the Pontchartrain Expressway. Light it up. Almost 50 crumbling sidewalk projects. Just sidewalks where a 12-year-old kid on a BMX bike in full padding and a helmet could get hurt riding down. It just... big old lips and crumbling and broken and no sidewalk here and just dangerous stuff. Some flood prevention projects for Superdome, CBD, Warehouse District, French Quarter. I think just being hyper vigilant, we'll get the entire, the micro details from Michael Hecht Friday when he joins us for his weekly visit. But I think it's like cleaning out those, basins and making sure that drainage pipes and things of that nature, culverts underground, above ground, are totally clear, like ready to roll. Bring on the water. Knock on wood on that one. No, it's that yesterday's press conference. I mean, I'm sitting here. Come on, I think my strength is being pretty fair and objective about stuff. I think going where the facts lead me, one of my strengths. I'm not some loony liberal or wacky right winger. I've been a registered independent since I'm 18. I kind of embrace it. I don't think either party represents me. Don't want to be associated with either party, and I don't have a problem with either party. And if you're associated with them, but I think that is kind of my strength. And I think when I'm critical of Mayor LaToya Cantrell, it sucks because I'm critical of her. It's not 9 out of 10 times. It's like 19 out of 20, 49 out of 50, something like that. I call her Junket Cantrell for crying out loud. I think she's going to be indicted. I mean, I don't know what more I need to say. Even with that said, I honestly think I'm being fair and objective. I don't wish any ill will on LaToya Cantrell. I'm not going to be giddy and happy when she goes to jail. I'm not going to be sad and heartbroken, but I think it's more of just sort of a pathetic, sad case than anything else. But the point is, when I'm critical 49 out of 50 times, I think it's right on the money. Not trying to be. The opposite. Boy, Corey, you rip her all the time. Make sure you're right. No, the mayor calling it the summer of the Super Bowl, summer of Super Bowl. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that June, July, August, we don't do a whole lot in New Orleans outside of Essence in a month and that's a weekend and Tomato Festival, Louis Armstrong Fest in August. I mean, not a whole lot going on in New Orleans in the summer. And then you got families and kids. They're not in school and they're on vacation. They're out of town. They're at summer camp. It's a little slower. It's a little slower in New Orleans. Everything, music scene, bar scene, restaurant scene. It's hot. We physically, mentally slow down a little in the summer. Perfect time to get a big jump start on this Super Bowl prep. So I love the summer Super Bowl. And then I love the governor. Someone, I'm just like LaToya Cantrell, always critical. I love the governor's comments.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Yeah, you right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks for joining us. Got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Yeah, you right. Love doing that. I like giving away those $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates. There's 5 locations, 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore. Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Let's see. We had a Saints question, which we answered, I believe. Yeah. Which Saints 2 numbers are unofficially retired? And also 4 Saints NFL Hall of Famers doing the bulk of their work in Saints uniforms. First off, the Saints organization is one of 32 NFL franchises. In 2024, we're kind of punching above our weight in New Orleans to have an NFL franchise, to be honest with you. We have had no growth in 45 years. We have the same population today in Metro New Orleans as we did in 1980. Now, from 1970 to 1980, the decade of the 70s, we grew by 35%. We were barely 1 million people in Metro New Orleans in 1970. Barely 1 million. By 1980, we were at 1.3 million, grew by 300,000 in the 70s. Since then, zero growth, stagnant, loss of population, no one moving here. Just people having kids that have stayed keeps it where it is. Everywhere else, explosive growth all over the South, all over Texas. So we're really punching above our weight in New Orleans to have an NFL franchise and an NBA franchise. So that's great stuff. Archie Manning, number 8, beloved Saint, the most popular Saint ever for decades and decades, years and years. His number 8 is unofficially retired because of the love, the city, the citizenry, the Saints fans. It's bigger and beyond the Saints. Archie Manning, the Manning family, beloved in New Orleans. First family of NFL football, these quarterback kids with Super Bowls and the success and the records and all of it. Some of the Peyton Manning, one of the best players to ever suit up in NFL history. So no one should wear Archie Manning's number 8. And it doesn't have anything to do with Peyton and Eli. It's all about Archie. No one should wear his number 8. The Saints don't officially retire numbers, but number 8's unofficially retired. It's off limits. Drew Brees is number 9 right away, unofficially retired, off limits, as it should be. No one should wear number 9. But it is insulting to number 57, Ricky Jackson, that his number is still being worn out on David Drive, or David Drive, let's go way back in time, out on Airline Highway, out on Tom Benson Way, Jim Fink's Saints training facility, whatever you want to call it. There's still some good player, legitimate player, rookie player, unknown player, still wearing number 57, still wearing number 77, Willie Roaf, still wearing number 7, Morton Anderson, still wearing number 51, Sam Mills. Those 4 are NFL Hall of Famers that did the bulk of their work, that earned their trip to Canton, mostly from what they did in a New Orleans Saints uniform, and it can't be argued. All 4 of them, Ricky Jackson, Willie Roaf, Morton Anderson, Sam Mills, the bulk of their NFL work, clearly more than 50% in a Saints uniform. Their numbers are still being worn by Saints players. I don't get it. I really don't. I honestly don't. I understand the significance of Drew Brees. But boy, if Drew Brees is clearly the number 1 Saint, if you want to say that, Ricky Jackson's clearly number 2. If you want to say Drew Brees stands alone as the greatest Saint player of all time, Ricky Jackson equally stands alone at number 2. There's no one closer to Ricky. I'd say Ricky Jackson's closer to Drew Brees as 1A than anyone else is 2B to or 2A to Ricky Jackson. So I don't know why the Saints organization hasn't embraced Ricky Jackson, but his 57 should not be worn. Saints could have done this like 3-4 years ago with the anticipation of Drew Brees retiring. One season, you have Ricky Jackson out there. The next, you have Willie Roaf. The next, at a halftime, you have Morton Anderson. The next, Sam Mills' family. And you unofficially retire those numbers. You know, that Ring of Honor in the dome, you could put like a gold halo over the numbers of the numbers that are unofficially retired. Maybe a gold and silver for officially retired, and, you know, silver for officially retired number like Archie Manning and Drew Brees right now, and then silver and gold for officially retired and NFL Hall of Fame. No one should wear Archie Manning's number 8. No Saint player should be wearing Drew Brees' number 9. And no Saint players should be wearing Ricky Jackson's 57 or Willie Roaf's 77 or Morton Anderson's 7 or Sam Mills' 51. Now, some of you are like, man, you only got so many numbers. The Chicago Bears have been playing football for over 100 years. They've got like 14 or 15 numbers retired. That's it. They retire numbers. It's like 14 or 15 over 100 years. So they got 84 numbers left and only 53 players on the roster. And then some extra players and the like. So what do you need? About 60, 65 numbers, and you got 85 to choose from in Chicago. You got 20, 15, 20 extras. There's no risk or worry of, man, too many Saints numbers retired. No, I just think it is a major blunder. I think only people say, probably older than me would be the number, like 60 plus sort of give a crap. I think anyone like definitely like 50 and under, that they just know the Peyton Breeze era Saints. They don't know the Jim Mora, Jim Fink Saints. And I don't think players like Ricky Jackson and what you saw out of Drew Brees, you got the same thing out of Ricky Jackson at the linebacker position. No different. Maybe even more of an intense player. The quarterback position, protected in the NFL. The DN position, more scrutinized than ever. Linebacker, Ricky Jackson was an outside linebacker that rushed the QB a lot. Willie Roaf, one of the best left tackles in the history of the National Football League. Morton Anderson, one of the greatest kickers in the history of the NFL. Sam Mills, just overachiever. Should have never been on the field. 5'9" tops. He's just, you know, you think about Ricky Jackson and Lawrence Taylor. Ricky Jackson in a bigger market, he'd be Lawrence Taylor. Sam Mills was Mike Singletary in Chicago. Middle linebacker, calling all the plays, calling all the signals, making all the adjustments, ridiculously smart, insanely verbal on the field, like seeing it, assessing it, firing out the new orders really quickly within milliseconds of the snap. And then you got a bunch of guys that get it, like Frank Warren and Jim Wilkes on the line, and Vaughn Johnson, what a badass he was. Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling. No, Archie Manning's 8, Drew Brees' 9. A player should never wear those. Ricky Jackson's 57, Willie Roaf's 77, Morton Anderson's 7, Sam Mills is 51. They shouldn't be worn either, right? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. So those two trivia questions answered. Which Saints 2 numbers unofficially retired? Manning's 8, Brees' 9. 4 Saint NFL Hall of Famers doing the bulk of their work in New Orleans. Jackson, Roaf, Anderson, and Mills. Yeah, you right. What else did we still have out there from a few days ago? Oh, I guess the hotel question was never answered. I'll leave that one out there. New Orleans has 4 1,000 plus room hotels. Name 3 of the 4. Name 3 of the 4 New Orleans 1,000 plus room hotels. 766-9480. 766-9480. We got the first ever Popeyes location. Where was the second ever Popeyes? I know that seems so arbitrary, like tomorrow asks where the third and fourth were. I have no idea where the third and fourth were, but a lot of folks know where the first location of Popeyes chicken was back in 1972, Araby. Where was the second ever Popeyes location? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 766-9480. 766-9480. We got the first ever Raising Cane's location. Mandy's Conoco. That's Highland Road at West State, right there by the LSU campus, by the Varsity Theater at the bottom of the hill, the old gas station. It's just a drive-in. I don't think there are any seats inside. I think it's a walk-up window and a drive-up. The first ever Cane's. I think he's got over 900 of them now around the world, and he's worth over $9.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Jan Moller is going to join us in about an hour. He's the executive director of Invest in Louisiana, formerly the Louisiana Budget Project. Their vision to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. That's funny. No, that is an honorable thing, and it's what we should strive for. But so many folks, I don't know what it is. People are strange. We fall in love with our politicians like they're celebrities or rock stars or athletes. Kind of the same thing. I mean, when I hear somebody like that's intelligent, if Edwin Edwards was around, we could. I'm like, what? Go back into the toilet? I mean, come on, that guy sucked. Bill Jefferson could go to jail with half of his family. It was like a RICO thing. It was insane, total insanity. Get elected to serve ourselves. That's the Bill Jefferson family way. Seriously. Obnoxious. Betty Jefferson, the assessor, like Mose. Who was it on the take? Man, we get Mark Morial back in on. Please stop, people. Stop. I know the black community in New Orleans, not a lot of black heroes and leaders, and Mark Morial's one of them. There's a reason Mark has been MIA for 20 years. In my opinion, the Fed said, hey, Mark, you leave the city. Jacques, not a peep from you at all. No influence on local politics. Go away or we come after you. I mean, Google the Mark Morial administration. It's hard to not find. Just don't even say like criminal activities. Mark Morial administration, New Orleans mayor. It's going to pull up so-and-so going to jail, so-and-so indicted. I mean, Haydel, his uncle, his mother's brother went to jail. It was so much corruption, nothing getting done, no advancement of black people in New Orleans. If you want a few thousand people with crappy city jobs not doing anything, losing their pride and integrity and dignity, there you go. But outside of that, no like businesses coming in and real private sector jobs that lifted up the black community. We're not some Atlanta black middle class in New Orleans or upper or wealthy like in Atlanta. Don't kid yourself. No, that's the problem. Folks are enamored with politicians like they're rock stars, musicians, or athletes. Don't. Most of them are jokers. Most of them are clowns. Heitmeyer, Alario. They're average at best. Most of them not that smart and intelligent. Sort of the dull tool in the shed. That's why they gravitated to politics and stayed in it so long. Help them with their side job, make more money with that, and get all the free gimmicks and BS you can. I mean, there's a reason New Orleans and Louisiana not doing so well against the competition the last 50 years or so. These people we elect, these jokers. So, I mean, you want to know who the good ones are? I'll name them because they're easy to name, and there's not many. And I might miss a few. There's some probably minor good ones that came in and didn't do anything wrong, did a few good things. But on a big level, Buddy Roemer. Buddy Roemer's probably the top of the list. Back in 87, we need to be like North Carolina, New Orleans, more like Charlotte. We need to get rid of this. We need to do more of this. I mean, wanted to make the state like real and competitive. And you had Edwin Edwards on the sideline and John Ilario and Sammy Nunez and Sherman Copeland, Johnny Jackson, all these BS artists, these nonsense joker guys, just screwing up everything Roemer was trying to do. And then the Louisiana Republican Party, this is unbelievable, if not true. Buddy Roemer wins as a Democrat, changes from Democrat to Republican while in office. This was way ahead of the trend. Roemer he saw North Carolina. He's a Harvard guy. He knew what Louisiana, New Orleans could be if we decided to go in his direction 35 years ago and not the Bill Jefferson, Edwin Edwards, Ilario, Heitmeyer, Morial crap that we embraced. No, this was in the 80s, all this change. Roemer changes from Democrat to Republican in office. The Louisiana Republican Party, instead of like, we got an incumbent governor, let's embrace him. They endorse Clyde Holloway, some evangelical right-wing guy from Baton Rouge, hardcore right. He got like 8% of the vote, 6% of the vote, where Roemer, Edwin Edwards, and David Dork, the Nazi, basically got a third each. But Roemer got the least of the third. So the runoff, thanks to the Louisiana Republican Party not endorsing the incumbent Republican governor, they endorsed a guy they knew couldn't win. They gave us the David Dork, Edwin Edwards election, which two great bumper stickers. Vote for the crook. It's important. And then David Dork, Fuhrer. That was another good bumper sticker. Anyway, no, we had a chance to change. We had a chance to become a different state. The trajectory totally different, but we embrace the jokers. We like the losers. Losing's easy. Edwin Edwards telling a joke, Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes, he stole 40,000. Edwin Edwards, 40,000? 40,000? I thought it was 80,000. Makes a joke. Everybody thinks that's great. The rest of the country's like, my God, no wonder Louisiana's so backwards. They keep electing this criminal, this blatant, obvious criminal. And I don't see any Fortune 500 companies going there. The only thing going into Louisiana are things that go where the river is, like the back door, the service entrance to the building. We're the Mississippi River. We're an industrial corridor. The NIMBY stuff, not in my backyard. Texas and Louisiana embraces this stuff. We love it. We love the pollution, the cancer-causing stuff, the chemicals. We bend over backwards for those folks, and they take advantage of us. I remember having Edwin Edwards on this program. I should replay that interview. I remember texting him afterwards. Thanks for the interview. That wasn't an interview. That was, what did he call it? An argument? I forgot. It's like, look, you don't have to be agreeable, Governor. Just don't be disagreeable all the time. No, it was funny. I asked him his accomplishments, name your top 3 accomplishments. He came up with 2. And one was like the Constitution. It's like, that was talked about in the 60s. It's almost like you were incidental. You happened to just be governor when it went down. And I forgot the second. Changing the way we tax oil and gas. I was like, that was great when it was booming. And then the opposite when the bottom fell out. And the bottom fell out and the opposite took place. And he couldn't name a third accomplishment. I'm like, that's unbelievable. I was busting his chops. I'm like, 4 terms, 16 years, you named 2. You can't come up with a third. And then I mentioned something about Texas and how when all the oil and gas money was coming in the 70s, when the bust came in 83, of course they were adversely affected, but they had diversified their economy. They had invested in higher education, public education, things like that. Edwin Edwards said, I have a ranch in Texas and the roads there are terrible. That's what he said. I was like, this is a joke. You're right. This isn't an interview. This is a joke. No, it was embarrassing. Now, Edwin Edwards was used to getting a serious question asked, him making a joke, the media laughing, and then moving on to the next question. I kind of took him to task a little bit, and that wasn't an interview, that was an argument, or that was a debate. That's what he said. That was a debate. It's like, you're damn right. I disagree with everything you do. I think you're a criminal, a crook. I think you're a pathetic human being. What can I say? Yes, I guess it was a debate because you're not a moral, ethical, high integrity person. You're full of crap. So yeah, I guess it was a debate. I can't wait for Jan Moller in the 5 o'clock hour. Going to talk about Jeff Landry, the legislative session. A lot of things accomplished. A lot of things accomplished in that legislative session. A lot of the bills are very significant. They change things dramatically. We're going to find out some of them are like experimental, you could say. The concealed carry. We don't know where that's going. I love the John Wooden comment. Never mistake activity for achievement. Never mistake activity for achievement. So a lot of activity in Baton Rouge. Let's see if it turns into achievement. St. Charles Avenue, 1200 block of St. Charles Avenue, in between like MLK, Old Melpomene, and the Pontchartrain Expressway, the riverside of St. Charles. Some private crew came in and took out an oak tree. I'm wondering if like one of the businesses on that street, that's what the police need to investigate. You find the owners of the businesses where the oak tree is located. Did you guys call someone to cut down this tree? And then the city of New Orleans immediately needs to replace that oak tree with another oak tree right away. Thank goodness this was one. I mean, look, I'm not happy about it at all. It was big. It was significant. I planted an oak tree in my front yard like 4 or 5 years ago. It's taller than my house now. It was 5 feet tall. I could put my hand to the top of it. Now I can climb into the tree. It's 5 years later. Seriously. It's taller than my house. It's big. This one was about, I don't know, looks like about 18 inches across. So probably a 30 or 40-year-old oak tree would be my guess. But we need to get, not some little sapling like I planted, but like a slightly mature oak tree, 5-10-year oak tree, and plant it in that exact same spot. And find out who cut it down, who called the tree people. It's easy to figure all that out. And then start finding some people.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right. Second ever Popeyes location. First ever Smoothie King location. Those are a couple of New Orleans originals that have gone all around the world. Give me the answer to either one of those questions. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. $2 million lottery ticket bought on Chef Highway. Ernest Clayton Jr. hit like 5 of 6 numbers. He bought it from the Chevron station on Chef Highway. After taxes, he took home a cool $1.435 million. Yeah, you're right, Ernest Clayton Jr. I wonder if Ernest Clayton Jr. will remain out on the Chef Highway area and continue living out there and frequenting the Chef Highway Chevron now that he has $1.435 million. I think Ernest Clayton Jr. won't be seen again on the Chef Highway near the Chevron, right off the I-10 on the Chef. I think he's done. I think that's that Chevron right across the street from, what is it, St. Mary's Academy? What's the school where the girls did the ridiculous math? Is that St. Mary's? Where the 2 girls did solve the math? They were on 60 Minutes. I think that's St. Mary's out there. It's a pretty cool campus. One of the few decent things on the Chef. Thank God for the Vietnamese community, man. The Chef would just be Hiroshima circa 1945. St. Mary's, right? Yep. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, I care about oak trees on St. Charles Avenue. Yeah, I'm a native New Orleanian. Like, trees are important to us. When a third of our tree canopy has gone away in the last 20 years, 1/3 contributes to more flooding, hotter city during the summer, all of that. We should be the opposite. We should be one of the most lush, We're on the top of the subtropic zone, one of the most lush tropical cities in the United States. Everywhere should just be trees. That's why I came up with We Be Diggin'. We be diggin'. That should be like a little New Orleans motto that we embrace today, and we embrace it for the next few decades. We be diggin'. We be digging small holes, planting trees, planting greenery, planting shrubbery, planting trees everywhere all the time. Boy, man, you go visit New Orleans, you know what I notice? They're planting a lot of trees just everywhere. All they do is plant trees. I went back there 5 years later. All they're doing, planting trees. Plant trees. Can't plant enough trees. Everywhere there's a spot for a tree, put a tree. I mean, practically. We be digging small holes, and we be digging big holes, retention ponds all around the city where water naturally gravitates. Gravity gravitates to the low spots. I mean, you want to get really into it? You had some really smart engineers, some people that are much brighter than me. We could be getting tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe billions from the feds. The lowest spot, I think, in the city is like Broad at Washington. Both Broad Street and Washington at that corner should be elevated. Like one should be an overpass and the other should be an elevated road. And all around it, retention pond. And some of those businesses, gone. Now, the funeral home, the old Bone Ford, that corner, that old Popeyes corner, maybe you build a wall right there that's like 4 or 5 feet tall that, goes down in height as it extends down the block. And that would keep that would keep the retention pond back. But that is a natural low-lying area. You want to know why retention ponds work so well? Look no further than any time we get a ridiculous deluge and those train trellises at I-10, Canal Boulevard, Carrollton Avenue, they all go underwater. Gentilly, by Paris Avenue, they all go underwater. They flood because they're a natural low spot. So the water naturally gravitates there. Like the Canal Boulevard train trellis, which floods every time there's a severe rain, right in between Navarre and the I-610. All you need to do is build an overpass over the train tracks there. And leave the dip leave the roadway and the dip underneath. When it's not raining and it's not flooding, that can be good for bicyclists, walkers, that type of stuff. And then when it rains, it floods. It fills with water instead of that Lakeview / mid-city neighborhood. We be digging. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Jan Moller is going to join us, the executive director of Invest in Louisiana. Their vision to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. I love groups like this. It's like the OIG, the Office of Inspector General in New Orleans. Hold politicians, people with city contracts accountable. Scrutinizing the public money being spent. At the very least, suggestions on how to spend it more efficiently, more effectively. At the least. At the worst, you're finding criminal behavior, theft. There's, in a place like New Orleans in Louisiana, an IG office is vital. Jefferson Parish is a joke, and St. Tammany doesn't even have one. No, I love this Invest in Louisiana group, the vision to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. To make Louisiana government, not to keep an eye on Louisiana government, to make sure it is transparent and accountable. Like that would be their goal automatically. It's like to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable, because it's not transparent, nor is it accountable. What's that, Blue Boy? Jan Moller in the 5 o'clock power hour. You're right. What else? Tell folks to stick around. Quick break, and then we return till 6 p.m. You're right, Blue Boy. Corey Johnson with you. Wide Open Wednesday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Once upon a time, there were 3 beautiful girls. 2 of them graduated from the police academy. The other graduated from a top school for models.
I was young when this show was on.
And they each
I don't know what it was. Maybe I was into the underdog. I liked Kate Jackson.
But I took them away.
It should have been Farrah Fawcett first, Jacqueline Smith second,
My name
Kate Jackson
is Charlie.
third. I saw the scariest thing on social media today. It's this website like the 70s, and it showed Thurston Howell and Mrs. Howell, and it just said, Mrs. Howell really isn't that old. You know, when I was a kid, I thought she was much older. Maybe there was a third option on that island after all. I'm like, wow. I always thought Mary Ann, you could argue, is better than Ginger. It's like Lonnie Anderson on WKRP, Bailey, the other girl, she might have been better. I'm going to go with Suzanne Summers, but Joyce DeWitt's pretty good looking, believe it or not. Anyway, no, some freak was saying that Miss Howell might be an option on Gilligan's Island. A third option. Wow. I still think that show is so crazy. Like most movies, TV, you have to suspend disbelief a little bit. Who would get on a boat with Gilligan and Skipper? I mean, seriously. Those 2 dorks, one in like the red shirt, one in the blue with the sailor hats on. I mean, come on. Flop down, not even like Skipper maybe was in the military. You could think maybe just because like forced into it, like drafted. Gilligan was nowhere near the military. Anyway, little buddy. Who would get on a boat with those guys? I guess it was pre-Doppler. They didn't know the storm was rolling in. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow brought to you by the best in the business, Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution since 1940. No one does it better. Tired of your dry cleaner? Experience the best. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Boy, this burns me up. National news, CBS National News. The video is just disturbing. But we've seen these types of people before. And it's not just something like unique to Louisiana, although we have our fair share, a large percentage of these idiots. No, the video shows 2 puppies being thrown into a dumpster outside of a business in Opelousas, a little north of Lafayette. Now, 2 people, the guy and the woman throwing the dogs in the dumpster, have been charged with aggravated animal cruelty. Tomorrow, when Jeff Dorson joins us on the program, we'll find out exactly what that entails. Is that even a felony in Louisiana? Is this woman, the boyfriend, the brother, whatever the man, are they going to jail? When things like this happen, I mean, the woman's cursing. She's just, first off, she obviously has a dog, and the dog got pregnant because the woman or the guy, they're not responsible pet owners. The animal wasn't spayed or neutered. You can bet your rear end it's never been to a vet. It's not on Trifexis. I laugh. Monthly heartworm medicine, please. So their dog gets pregnant. It has puppies. This woman's aggravated by these puppies, and these puppies are like 6-8 weeks old, it looks like. Throws them into a dumpster, cursing all mad, like that solves my problem. Just belligerent, ignorant, stupid, hell-bent and driven and passionate about the belligerent ignorance and stupidity. That's not a good combo. No, this type of person needs a jolt in their life. And the jolt is you're going to jail for a while. I don't know how many days. I don't know how many weeks. What do you sentence a human being that throws puppies in a garbage can to let them just die in the garbage can, throw them away like they're trash, and is belligerent and pissed off doing it? Like it's such an inconvenience. What's the penalty for that? Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. I think it's got to be a disruption of life. Like a few days in jail probably isn't enough. It's almost like how many days in jail would make you lose your job? Would make you lose your job. 766-9480, Rouse's Markets phone lines. Now, this kind of crap, just defenseless animals, little puppies, by the way, rescued, fostered out already. But this aggravated animal cruelty can't be a misdemeanor, can't be no jail time. Dogs thrown in a dumpster, I think that human being and her accomplice need jail time, need a disruption in their life. Like when they come out of jail, wow, I was thrown out of my apartment. My car got repoed. I lost my job. I don't know. But it can't just be a slap on the wrist or you made a mistake, because that's not enough of a lesson. This person needs to be taught a lesson and probably needs some psychiatric counseling on like animals and cruelty and that behavior. And I've often said this. I mean, look no further than like a Jeffrey Dahmer. People that are cruel to animals, they are usually cruel to human beings. Now, Corey, my grandfather is cockfighter and a dog fighter. He's a good guy. No, he's not. He's an idiot. Your grandfather is a complete fool and idiot. I don't care if he's a lawyer, an architect, a welder, or a plumber, garbage man. If he's into cockfighting and dog fighting, he is a complete and utter worthless human being. There's no redeeming value. None. Should be in a little cage. Like maybe a dog kennel where he just has to ball up in the cage for a while. That type of solitary confinement. No, people that are cruel to animals, the next step is cruelty to human beings. And that's not my big concern, to be honest with you. It's the cruelty to animals. It's the initial thing. Take care of them now. Don't have to worry about them being cruel to human beings. They probably already are. But this woman, the video is sickening. The act and just her belligerent, ignorant, stupid attitude and just hell-bent and passionate about it. Just a bitter, pissed off, ugly woman. And then the boyfriend or whatever, brother, whatever, the male guy just standing there. No, jail time for those folks. Disrupt their lives. That's the only way you're going to make any kind of significant change. Boy, Blue Plate mayonnaise. How New Orleans is that? Since 1927, I have never, ever purchased anything in my life when it comes to mayonnaise, but Blue Plate. In my refrigerator, in my pantry, at my house, it's only been Blue Plate my entire life. Bringing out the best flavor in everything. If you're a New Orleanian, it's got to be Blue Plate. Spread the love, Blue Plate mayonnaise. Jan Moller is going to join us in a few minutes. He's with Invest in Louisiana. It was formerly Louisiana Budget Project, advancing policy change to advance Louisiana. Their vision to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. He's going to join us to break down the legislative session. Governor Jeff Landry's agenda. Boy, a lot on it. I mean, Yesterday, I had Piper Hutchinson on from the Louisiana Illuminator, and we went through a big list. It was pretty long. There's a whole lot of legislation that Landry's kind of agenda, permitless concealed carry, Troop N in New Orleans, 10 Commandments, all these heads of these different departments, 25-foot police buffer, Gator education voucher, social studies standard, abortion pill as a controlled substance, deregulating insurance, ethics board appointees, public records, government, the governor's hidden travel and meeting schedule, state troopers to Texas, don't say gay, go on and on and on. We'll break it all down for you. I love the quote from legendary UCLA coach John Wooden. It's the best. Never mistake activity for achievement. Never mistake activity for achievement. We'll see if the legislature achieves something. Lots of activity. We'll see if there's achievement with that activity. Yeah, I was ticked off to hear this. St. Charles Avenue, especially down towards the Pontchartrain Expressway, the oak trees, we need a lot more planted there. Some jerks came in. I'm guessing a business owner didn't like the oak tree in front of their business. Called in somebody. They kind of went in there and just chopped down the oak tree.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC, I got your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC, I got your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
That sounds like Astro Project. Yeah, you're right. Really good jazz ensemble. I guess they're still playing over at Snug Harbor. I need to go over there, get a burger and a baked potato, and then mosey in the back and check out some Astro Project. That's a good night. That's a good date. That's a good date night over there on Frenchman. Go see my buddy who owns the Maison, old Jeff B. Frenchman Street. I tell you another, St. Claude, man. St. Claude is happening over there, around St. Roch, in between Elysian, or I shouldn't say Elysian Fields, Franklin and, Race. In between Franklin and Race, the Marigny right there. It is happening. Parked on the street, walked across the neutral ground, clove cigarette smell, music in my left ear, different music in my right, live music out on the street. Went into an Italian joint, got some homemade pasta. A lot of you folks that are like scared in New Orleans, don't want to go into New Orleans. I hear you. I'm not trying to say that there isn't a violent crime problem, but it is diminished greatly in the last few months. It continues to go down. New Orleans is like any other city in America when it comes to, crime. You could be in Chicago, Miami, New York, LA, San Francisco. It's going to be no different. Some of you, that you just want to avoid the city. I'm a city boy. So, just like the basics, like a good steakhouse, some good Italian, some good Chinese food. I'm a city boy. I need some of those like basics like that. And then the culture and the things of convenience that a city brings. And then New Orleans with conventions and tourists, we punch above our metro population weight greatly. Lots of amenities and things that we would not normally have if we didn't have these tourists or conventioneers coming by the tens of millions. No, I'm a New Orleans guy, and I don't know. I went to Clancy's last night in Uptown with my mom, my brother, my sister, my nieces in town. One of my best friends since childhood. Irene's Cuisine. Irene's in the Quarter on I guess that's Bienville. Bayona on Dauphine. I don't know. I'm meeting a buddy at Crescent City Steaks on Broad later in the week. You're missing a lot. I like Jefferson Parish. I like the North Shore. Ironically, the North Shore has more high-end fine dining restaurants than all of Jefferson Parish does. But Jefferson Parish by itself, I'm being serious now. How many high-end fine dining restaurants? And I don't eat high-end fine dining every night. Might do it once every few weeks, but I'm just saying that quality of food. How many restaurants are there in Metairie that fit that bill? A half dozen, maybe 10? How many on the North Shore? Maybe 10 or 12? How many in New Orleans? 100? 100? Anyway. No, we punch above our weight and avoiding New Orleans because I don't like going in there. I hear you. Stay in Jefferson and the North Shore. Me, I'm in Orleans. I'm in Jefferson. I'm a Treyen on the North Shore. I hit it all. I'm a Metro New Orleans guy. Go down to the Parish, Dong Fong in the East, wherever, whenever I want to go, I go. There's no worry or crime. I'm not going to Marie Laveau's grave in St. Louis Cemetery at 2 a.m. to say some prayers. I'm not stupid, but what's that? The Assassin restaurant. What's it called? Something Assassin. Look up there. Just say Assassin restaurant in New Orleans. I'm missing one of the key words. It's like the cooking assassin. What is it? Something assassin. Literally, you get off the I-10 at Claiborne. You're coming down the Claiborne down ramp. Right when the down ramp lands on Claiborne, next block on your right. Food Assassin? Is it Food Assassin?
8 Fresh Food Assassin.
A Fresh Food Assassin.
The number 8 Fresh Food Assassin.
The number 8. Food Assassin. Yeah, I went in there, got lamb chops, mac and cheese. I was the only white dude in the place. Do you think I cared about that? The staff was great. The black ladies there was the staff, at least that day, wait staff was all black women, like 2 or 3 of them. They were so great to me. They were so great to me. It ain't cheap. My lamb chops were like 30-some bucks. They were good, though. Mac and cheese was outstanding. Oh, I got barbecue shrimp, too. No, I went all out at the Food Assassin. But, yeah, what more do I need to say? I got off Claiborne and pulled up right there at night. Parked on the street. It was dark. Walked right in, came out, got my car. I wasn't worried. I came out looking around like I would anywhere. New Orleans, Metairie, anywhere. I just kind of look around at my environment, but I wasn't like head on a swivel. No, the Food Assassin's good. Those lamb chops, the barbecue shrimp, kicked ass, and I think I got maybe some garlic bread and the mac and cheese. So I don't care where it is, but I'm not stupid. I'm not like looking to go to the hood and get shot or stabbed or get carjacked, but a lot of that is absurdly overrated. Taking Uber. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, so I guess I just sort of unconsciously know. It's like crossing Carrollton Avenue. I don't have to go, hey, look on the neutral ground for the streetcar. You just unconsciously know to look on the neutral ground for the streetcar. I don't pull up to the intersection going, not only look for traffic, look for the streetcar too. I just look for traffic and drive through the intersection. If there's a streetcar there, I'm not hitting it. It just sort of naturally happens. Hey, best quality, best price, best selection kind of naturally happens. Just pulling into your Rouse's Market. Rouse's Markets tastes like home. I scooped up a few gallons of Rouse's Market spring water. I think it was like $1.39 a gallon. $1.39 a gallon. A North Shore spring, local spring water, high quality. I think it was $1.39 a gallon. No, Rouse's has everything you want. The Rouse's labeled stuff like the spring water I got, like the extra virgin olive oil from Italy at half the price of the Cola Vita. Best quality, best selection, best price. Check out those Rouse's labels. Tastes like home, Rouse's Markets. Corey Johnson with you. In about 2 minutes, Jan Moller is going to join us. He's with Invest in Louisiana. Their vision, to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. We'll talk about the legislative session, good, bad, ugly. Jeff Landry, the good, bad, and the ugly. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480 on this wide open Wednesday edition of the program. 766-9480. St. Charles Avenue, oak tree cut down. Yeah, I'm guessing the business owner there, one of the business owners didn't like the tree blocking the view of his business. So he hired someone to cut the tree down. That's what I'm guessing. Someone had to pay the private guy to come buzz the tree down, cut it up, throw it in the back of his truck, and leave. Someone had to pay that guy. Didn't do it for poops and giggles. And wouldn't you think it would be probably one of the business owners wanting a clear view from the street of their place, not having the trunk of the tree or the branches of the tree obstructing the view? I'm guessing, I'm assuming, I have no idea. Maybe it's some West Bank guy. Hey, Jimmy, I'm going to pay you $500. Go cut down a tree on St. Charles. Have a good day. Why? Oh, no reason. I mean, there's reasons behind things. You got to kind of maybe backwards, view it. Like, tree's gone. What would make someone want that tree cut down? No, I was ticked off at, who was it? Guidry, Shane Guidry. In Old Metairie on North Line. He has like a $15 million, the best of everything. You don't know what the best of everything is, dude. Everything you got in your house, there's a better version of what you got somewhere. Best of everything. Just such a dopey comment. Okay. Awesome. Anyway, Shane Guidry cuts down an oak tree like in front of his house illegally on North Line in Old Metairie, like with a $15 million house. Just silly. You just can't do that. Especially when a third of our tree canopy is gone in Metro New Orleans. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube. Live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebrah. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. That's right. The legendary Ford truck dealership for over 80 years, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Still over there on Jefferson Highway. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Let's shift gears. Louisiana legislative session in the books. Jan Moller joins us on the program. He's with Invest in Louisiana, formerly the Louisiana Budget Project. Jan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Corey. It's great to be with you.
It's the Scandinavian Hour. Corey, Kaare, Jan, Jan.
That's right. I don't know how, and somehow we both ended up in South Louisiana.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Jan, what's Invest in Louisiana all about? I like just a couple of the lines you guys had on the website. Advancing policy change to advance Louisiana. And I like the vision, not like making sure, keeping checks and balances on these guys, but to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. It's not transparent and it's not accountable. That's what I got out of that vision statement.
No, it's not. And look, we're a nonprofit with offices in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We do policy research, analysis, advocacy, and outreach. We focus on state policies, and we do that through the lens of how we can help low and moderate income families in Louisiana. And so we look at that mostly through the lens of the budget and tax structure that we have in Louisiana, but we get into a lot of other issues as well, because as you know, state government touches almost every aspect of people's lives, good or bad. And so that's the work we do. I've been doing this for about 12 years. Prior to that, I was on your side of the tracks. I was a news reporter based in Baton Rouge. Worked for the Times-Picayune, but I've been around the legislature now for 21 years, which is about 19 years longer than I ever expected to. But it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah, no, I bet. Always interesting. That's one benefit. I mean, if you're in news or what you do, New Orleans, Louisiana, we're like New York, Chicago, LA. We are a major city and a major state when it comes to political craziness and stories and political characters and events and deviant behavior and the like, dysfunction.
And it's been 21 years up here in Baton Rouge, and every session, you kind of have a picture of what you think is going to happen, and they never fail to surprise you, and good and bad. But that's what keeps it interesting.
This one was maybe a little different. I wasn't too surprised, Jan. I kind of have an idea of who Jeff Landry is. He's not really a conservative Republican. He's sort of an extreme right-wing guy. You can throw in a little evangelical flavor to it. I figured he was going to go all out. And then having the House and the Senate with basically a Republican supermajority, he was going to get a lot of his stuff green-lighted. Did you think the same thing, or were you kind of going with your original thought there with this Jeff Landry session that maybe there were some things that surprised you?
Well, that was the assumption going in, Corey. I mean, I can't speak for what happened in Reconstruction, but it was certainly the first time in modern times that we've had a triple red government in Baton Rouge, a conservative Republican governor and Republican supermajorities. And if you remember, we had three special sessions going into this. The organizational session when Jeff Landry got his picks for, Senate President, House Speaker, all the committee chairs. Then we had the redistricting session. Jeff Landry got everything he wanted. Then we had the crime special session. Jeff Landry had his agenda rubber stamped. So I think the assumption going in was anything Jeff Landry wants, Jeff Landry's going to get. And the results were a little different. He got a lot of things that he wanted, certainly on the social issues. If you're looking at Louisiana from outside the state, I think people are going to look at, the morning after pill becoming a controlled dangerous substance. First state in the country to do that. First state in the country to require every public school classroom to post the 10 Commandments. We had a lot of these. First state in the country to have a surgical castration of sex offenders. And then we had all these anti-trans bills and some of these social policy bills went through really pretty easily. But then when it came to some of the economic questions, the two big priorities the governor had going in was he wanted this education savings account bill. That bill got through, but it got watered down significantly. The other big thing he wanted was the Constitutional Convention, and that bill didn't even come up for a hearing. So the two big priorities that really had economic impact on the state tax structure and on the state budget didn't go forward. And I think that surprised a lot of people. It certainly surprised me.
Agreed, but also the groundwork is now laid. The Gator voucher program's in place. Next session or the session after that, they can, amend it. And then the Constitutional Convention, I think Landry wanted the long shot, but even not getting it, it sets it up for a future session. Wouldn't you agree, Jan? Maybe after the summer?
Well, the constitutional change is not dead. And, the rumor and the word in the Capitol the final days was that there might be a special session coming up in late July, early August to amend some sections of the Constitution. So you're right. We haven't seen the last of that. And on the Gator scholarship, absolutely. They pushed the cost of that bill down the road. So next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, the legislature is going to have to decide how much money do we want to put aside for that. But that is a significant change from how the bill was originally written. So you're right. Jeff Landry, he hasn't lost on those issues, but he also hasn't won yet.
That's right. Jan Moller's with us, Executive Director of Invest in Louisiana. Their vision, mission statement, to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable. would you say under John Bel Edwards, Bobby Jindal, gold standard of ethics reform, I would say nothing happened under either one. Jindal pretended something happened. I don't think there was any gold standard of ethics. I think the Louisiana Ethics Board is weak. I think the $50 limit when it's each event, you could have 10 events in one night, spend $500 with that politician. I think that was a joke. I think John Bel Edwards didn't proactively do anything, and maybe I'm missing something, Jan, that led to more transparency and accountability. But I'm assuming, and I don't want to speak for you, that the vision of your group, Invest in Louisiana, to make Louisiana government transparent and accountable, it went backwards this session with Jeff Landry as governor. Correct or not?
I think that's absolutely right. And I think some of the most problematic bills that we saw this session had to do with transparency and accountability. The governor gained a lot of controls of boards and commissions. He gained a lot more control over who sits on the ethics board. He gained the right to keep a lot of the documents in his office secret, including his schedule.
Yep.
And so there's a lot less transparency, not just to state government overall, but to the governor's office in particular. And we already had less transparency into the governor's records in Louisiana than people have in other states. A lot of states have a lot stronger transparency laws than Louisiana, and we did take a step backwards on that. So, and so I think one of the things when we look back on these years, on this year, 20 years from now, I think we're going to look back and remember the consolidation of power in the governor's office that took place this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Consolidation of power and just the oxymoronic view of not understanding what a public record is. It's called a public record for a reason.
Yeah, no. And look, these politicians, the governor, the agency heads, all the public servants, they work for us. They work for you and me and everybody listening to this program. And we pay their salaries. The legislators don't make that much, but we pay what they make. And that's why those documents need to be public and open and accessible for anybody to look through. And so, unfortunately, governments, not just here, but I think, at the federal level, try sending a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request to a federal agency. You might be dead before they respond. So it's not just in Louisiana, it's everywhere that government, I think, has become a lot less transparent than we need it to be.
No, and it needs to go the opposite way, not a more restrictive way like they're doing here. Hey, Jan, we mentioned the Constitutional Convention, mentioned the Gator voucher not fully going in the direction of the governor's wishes. And then we just mentioned public records, and it didn't go in the direction of the governor's wishes. But the convention may be coming. The Gator thing could be amended in the future, and it's established. And the governor got what he wanted personally with public records. So are we right saying he didn't get everything he wanted, or is he like a developer saying, I want to build a 50-story building, and in reality, he only wants the 20-story, but he knows you ask for 50, and then once it goes through zoning and everything, you, quote, settle for 20, when that's what they wanted all along. Like, is he shooting for the sky? And if it hits, fantastic. But my real goal is to get a lesser version of what I'm saying. I'll take the 20-story building when I'm saying I want a 50-story, and I'm fully content.
That's a real interesting question. We don't know, because I think one of the problems, let's take the Constitutional Convention to start. The big problem with this was twofold. Number one, Jeff Landry didn't run on changing and overhauling the Constitution. He ran for office as a genial, good old boy who loved Louisiana, who was going to work on fixing crime. And that was the first thing he did in a special session. If you're going to run on if you're going to do something as major as rewrite the state constitution, you need to tell the voters, we just had an election last year, that's what you want to do. He didn't say he wanted to do that. So I think we can surmise that this came not necessarily from the fertile mind of Jeff Landry, but from some of the folks who are whispering in his ears and maybe funding his campaign. The second problem with that is that the governor never said what he wanted to change in the Constitution and why. He kept saying, well, the Constitution is too long. It's too fat. The Constitution needs to be skinnier, like he wanted to fat shame the Constitution. You're not going to go through this whole exercise, this whole long historic exercise, just because there's too many words in the Constitution. You're doing it because there are specific things that you want to change in state law, and the Constitution stands in the way. I mean, the Constitution is there. All those amendments to the Constitution are there to protect the people of Louisiana from the legislature, from their government. That's what constitutions are designed to do, is to put limits on government. And he didn't really say what he wanted to change in the Constitution. I think that's what made a lot of people, including ourselves, extremely nervous. And we still don't really know what the agenda is in a constitution, in a constitutional convention. If the governor moves ahead and says, well, let's just have a special session and we'll amend certain sections of the Constitution, that's at least better, because if he does it that way, then he has to articulate exactly what he wants to change, and then we can have a debate about those specific changes rather than say, hey, let's just get everybody together in a room and we'll pass my agenda and put it on the ballot and we'll explain it to you later. That's what he wanted to do. That's what made people so nervous, and that's, I think, why the Senate said no.
Jan, aren't there some things that the governor has done that are strictly political to enhance his position with his base? I mean, a couple of weeks in, going to the Texas border, I doubt Greg Abbott is going to send Texas state troopers to Grand Isle to move a bunch of boulders around to save our coastline. And to make it even more ironical, Texas is a rich state that's affluent, that's booming, that has a great economy, has a lot of cities with explosive growth. Louisiana, last time I checked, is the opposite: dormant, stagnant, no growth for 40 years. While Texas and the entire South has been booming, we missed not the boat, the rocket ship. And we're helping Texas with their border crisis. They're not helping us with our coastal erosion problem, and they never will. I'm guessing that move was 110% political, and the sad part is you got about 100 state troopers, National Guard troops from Louisiana in Texas right now. I wouldn't want to be those folks.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Look, it's an election year, and so everything is political in an election year, and certainly I think most people recognize that border moves to be political. I think one of the most interesting things that happened in the Senate, because we're spending, I think, about $3 to $5 million to go protect the Texas-Mexican border with our National Guard.
It's unreal.
In this political move. If you remember, right around the same time, just a little bit after that, the governor announced that Louisiana was not going to participate in the summer feeding program. This was, the federal government changed the policy and said, families that get SNAP assistance, food stamps, are going to get a little bit more money during the summer months when their kids are out of school and when your family's grocery bills get a little higher because they're not eating at school twice a day.
Right.
And the only thing the state had to pay, all of these benefits were going to be federal money, $71 million that was going to come into the state, that was going to be spent in grocery stores, supermarkets, convenience stores. And all the state had to pay was some of the administrative costs, which was going to be around $3 million. Jeff Landry said no to that. But one of the interesting things that happened, and again, this is where, I think the legislature surprised a lot of people. The legislature said, no, we don't want you to reject that. We want you to accept these dollars. We're going to put $3.5 million in the budget to make sure the state can draw down that $71 million in federal money. When the legislature first did that, the House was passing the budget. It was one of these really interesting moments in the debate. They called the head of the Department of Children and Family Services up to the floor of the House, and he said, and he told the legislature, he said, wait, we think it's a little too late. We don't think we can get it done this year. Maybe we can get it done next year in the fall. And the head of the Appropriations Committee in the House, a conservative Republican, Jack McFarland, who runs the Appropriations Committee, said, that is hogwash. We don't work for you. You work for us. And 2 days later, that agency came back and said, you know what? We thought about this, and we can actually make this work by June. And so there are 600,000 children in Louisiana who are going to get a little extra money. Their families are going to get a little extra money to put food on the table because the legislature said no to Jeff Landry and said, basically, if we can spend $5 million to send troops to the border, then to the Texas border, then we can spend $3 million to make sure kids in Louisiana have food.
Yeah, and get $70 million. Yep, and like you said, the trickle down. He still wins though because he was against it, and it's that. Hey, free federal money, that mentality he's pushing with his base. It's like the 25-foot police buffer thing. That law already exists. Policeman's working, arresting someone, questioning someone, and a civilian walks up. It's already illegal to mess with that. So the 25-foot buffer, again, just, hey, protecting police and making sure those stupid criminals stay away. That it's all about the base, I think, with both of those things. So even with the money coming through, he was against it, and that against this federal waste. That's how he would put it. And
look, he is. You don't get to be governor of Louisiana without being a good politician.
Yep.
And without having a good sense of who your voters are and what issues motivate them to go to the polls. And Jeff Landry, I have a lot of disagreements with this man, but I respect his instinct as a politician.
Oh, yeah.
And you're absolutely right. I don't think he hurt himself with his voters, and certainly, and he's got at least 3.5 more years, maybe 7.5 more years to be our governor. So a lot of the things that maybe he didn't get this year, he can certainly come back and try again.
Yeah, folks on this show know I'm no Donald Trump fan, but they also know I acknowledge that he might be the greatest politician in the history of American politics. Strictly being a politician. Jan, the Texas border thing, what kind of pisses me off is it would have been a great, real opportunity that could have put a national spotlight on Louisiana if he would have gone to our coast and talked about coastal erosion. He's never even broached that subject, not during the campaign, not the first 120 days as governor. I mean, that's a major problem in Louisiana. And this governor is not addressing it, and maybe worse, going backwards. The Mid-Barataria Diversion Project, the largest in the state's history, one of the largest in the country's history, one of the largest diversion projects in the world. It's being sidelined right now, and Landry's not too proactive as far as getting it going again. The opposite. One of his folks said, we inherited this. It's a mess. It's not a mess. It's a diversion project. I don't know. It's very political.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not coastal policy is not my policy strength, but I think one of the bills that was going through this session, and I forgive me, I don't know exactly what happened to it, but they were thinking about folding the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority back into the Department of Natural Resources. It's basically saying that the agency that protects the coast shouldn't be independent. They should be underneath the agency that regulates. And I use that term loosely.
Yeah, because an oil and gas guy heads up natural resources now, which is mind blowing to me.
Lobbyist.
Yep.
And so one of the nervous things that made me very nervous about the Constitutional Convention was, one of the protected funds that we have is the Coastal Fund, where all of the money we get from the Go Mesa funding, the offshore oil revenues, that goes into the Coastal Fund, the BP settlement dollars, all this money is protected and it's supposed to help rebuild our coast. And we don't know what the governor's plan would have been in a constitutional convention, but there's no guarantee that agency stays independent and that those dollars remain protected, because and so that's again something that made me nervous. I was around during Katrina and after Katrina, and those coastal dollars were protected after Katrina. Those constitutional amendments passed with, I think, 70 and 80% support among voters. So the voters in the state were very clear that they wanted coastal dollars protected so politicians couldn't take that money and use it for something else.
New Orleans hospitality and restaurant, Texas, Houston oil guy or chemical industry guy knows nothing about hospitality or restaurants. He heads that now, Landry's appointment. DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, Natural Resources, Coastal Protect. It's all people that aren't experts in that field, and they're not fair or objective. I love the Ohio State rowing captain appointee. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, the governor and they all got confirmed, and we'll keep an open mind, but I think you're absolutely right. It'll be it's going to be an interesting 3.5 years, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is the budget of the state. The biggest thing the legislature does every year is pass the state budget for the next fiscal year. Starts July 1. This is the easiest budget Jeff Landry will ever have, because next year, as most people probably know, we are looking at big deficits in the state budget. So when the legislature comes in next year, it's going to be a fiscal session, and the legislature is going to have to either renew some taxes that are expiring, replace that revenue with other taxes, or else they're going to have to go in and make deep cuts to programs that people support and people don't want to see cut. Going back to what really, I think, defined the Bobby Jindal era in Louisiana politics. And I think the reason Bobby Jindal left office with 28% approval was because for 7 out of his 8 years, he was cutting the government every year. He was cutting programs and putting Louisiana farther behind the rest of the South and the rest of the country with those cuts. And I think we're going to be in danger of going back that same way. So Jeff Landry has had a very good honeymoon, even though he lost a few things. But next year, it's going to get a lot tougher for him.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Jan, how can folks check out Invest in Louisiana and what you guys do?
Go to our website, investlouisiana.org. And if you go there, you can sign up for our newsletters. I'm an old reporter, and so we publish every day. We publish a newsletter. I'll send it to you for free, and hopefully you'll like it. But everything that we do is on our website, and I hope you'll stay in touch.
No, we will. I'm going to get on that newsletter. That's fantastic. Jan, a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Corey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's Jan Moller, Executive Director, Invest in Louisiana. Going to get him on the show more often. Boy, he was ridiculously knowledgeable. Glad I got him on. Knows what he's talking about. 5 o'clock powwow on a wide open Wednesday. That hour flew by. Holy smokes. Very quick. Boy, I said last night I was out to dinner with my mom, brother, sister, high-end restaurant in Uptown, Leidenheimer French bread. First thing we got at the table, the mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread, piping hot. What a great way to start your meal. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. What's that, Blue Boy? Leidenheimer's part of the fabric of the community. You're right, since 1896, buddy. Thank the corporal for pushing the buttons right. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you tomorrow. A Thursday edition of the program, 4 p.m. mañana. Be there or be square or rectangular. Maybe that rhombus shape.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.